This is the first time I'm talking today and I'm realizing it's worse than I thought. But it's okay.
And you didn't even do anything crazy over the weekend. It just like went.
I didn't go out for St. Patrick's Day. I think it's just like a lack of sleep. And it is, wow, this is bad. So rainy in San Diego. I think it's like the warm to cold. I don't know.
I see the news here is just saying like atmospheric river over and over. I think the mountains out there are getting like 4 feet of snow or something like that.
Yeah, it's wild. I'm so
Yeah.
glad I moved here for the sun.
Yeah. In March.
Yeah.
Okay. So I wrote you a little intro. It's pretty short, but just summarizing what you've accomplished so far.
I'm
So
honored.
you're most known for your traveling content where you've gone all over the world. You recently took a big leap moving from the East Coast to the West Coast of the United States. Your YouTube channel has over 163,000 subscribers, and you've had over 16 million views. So thanks for joining me today. Excited to
Thank you
talk.
for having me. I'm going to try to squeak some words out for you.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. I'm just happy you're here because this is the first podcast. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of ups and downs throughout it. We'll see how it goes, but
No, congrats. It's fun. It's so much fun.
Okay, so I think we should start off with, I feel like what is probably one of the most important things in your life, which is traveling. Seems like something you really have a passion for. And yeah, so do you have any trips planned right now?
Since I just moved cross country and I actually drove cross country 3 times, 2 of those times were solo with my 2 dogs. I'm kind of just settling into San Diego and finally being somewhere that like I really love where I live. I'm kind of trying to just explore here for right now, but I am going to like stagecoach and doing little short trips, but nothing international planned, which is the first time in so long. So I have a little FOMO, but no international trips planned.
Yeah, maybe that is a good place actually to start. Like, why did you move out west? What made you like feel ready to do that? And just why did you want to make the leap out there in the first place?
I've always wondered, I don't think that as like just humans, you're meant to live in one place your whole life. I think there's just so much to explore and like expand on. And especially since traveling, I realized the little bubble that I grew up in, Bergen County, is beautiful and incredible, but there's a lot more to learn and be seen. So when I went to California when I was like 13 with my family, and then I went again, my voice, my senior year, I should just like, this is going to be an ASMR podcast. I'm going to start whispering. I went out my senior year for spring break to visit a friend out here. And she went to school here. And I was like, how is this real people's life? Like, I was like, I want to live in California for a little bit. And like, it just, I don't know, right time, right place type deal. And it finally kind of came together when my friend and I didn't even tell this on my podcast or anywhere yet. Steven's getting the exclusive.
Yes.
One of my best friends and I, Amanda, decided to move out here, and we drove out here. Everything, time and place seemed right. We come out in my brother's pickup truck and she ships her car out. Sorry, I'm diving into a tangent. This is just a good story. So we drive out here and she's like, you know what? I need my car for work. I'm going to ship it out on one of those transport trucks. And she schedules it. We get a recommendation from a friend that lives out here who sent her car out that way. And she ships it. And 5 hours before it's delivered, she gets a text message or she gets a call. And the lady's like, there's been an accident. And she's like, what do you mean there's been an accident? Like with a truck? It's like a massive truck. Like, is the truck driver okay? Whatever. Not thinking her car. And the lady just goes, she's a foreigner and couldn't speak perfect English. She just goes, fire.
Oh God.
And my roommate's car was on the transport truck and the whole truck caught fire.
Oh my God.
And everything she packed in the car and her car blew up in flames.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
So
I'd be freaking out.
Literally, it was to this day, I don't know if I've like fully processed it. I think that's why I haven't told the story yet. Clearly I haven't. I could have delivered it better, but you got the exclusive. But yeah, so everything like time and place seemed right. I will say for me, So then I ended up coming home and then driving back. But I'm a big believer in like everything happens for a reason. So I don't know, everything kind of lined up. And then I ended up out here, ended up finding an apartment for me and the two pups. Like that was a hellscape of 5 months house hunting.
Hmm.
But ultimately, I wanted to be happy my day to day and not want a vacation from like my day to day weather, environment and everything, and landed in San Diego.
Yeah, I think I don't know why I feel so attached to where I grew up. Like we're a little bit opposite in that sense. Like I love traveling and I want to see the world way more in the future, but I don't know if I could ever picture myself moving away from like this area. I don't, I'm one of those people, it's like once I get like comfortable or used to something, it's like I just want to stay there probably forever. But I mean, what happened to your friend? Like what it was her next move? What'd she do? Like does the
So
company
she
owe her a car? Like what?
That was the craziest thing. It was a battle, of course, with any like insurance company, it's a battle. And I think there was a settlement, like she got money, but there's nothing that's going to replace like your grandfather's things that you packed in your car to
Oh
bring
yeah,
out,
it's the stuff in the car. Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
insane.
it was wild. To this day, I want to have her on my podcast and just have her kind of talk about it because
Hmm.
insanity. But
Did she
yeah,
still like move out there or did she have to go back?
she got a job in operating room in Jersey because a lot of California hospitals are pretty, they favor the people that went to school out here.
Hmm.
So she went home for a job. But
Wow,
yeah, wild story.
that's crazy. So what's the biggest like differences you've noticed so far living out there?
Everyone's outside way more. I want to say, I mean, obviously, I'd say the weather, although it's downpouring today. Like I needed a
Hmm.
ring light because there's no sun today in sunny San Diego. But everyone's really they prioritize being outside, and I think it's a little. I want to use my words carefully because I've only been here officially for like a month and a little bit, but I've been out here, I guess, for 5 months. It's a really back and forth story for me. I finally feel settled, but I will say, just everyone's outdoors way more. I want to say it's a little less materialistic than where we grew up,
Hmm.
which is something that I'm really excited to like be a bit away from. And don't get me wrong, there are pockets of every type of person on every corner of the earth, but the prioritizing like healthy living and being outside and making time for that, it's really nice to see here because the grind at home definitely takes a toll on you.
So you do notice like a big cultural difference within the people and the society almost like it's laid back and we're focused on like maybe like nature and exercise and all that. Whereas here it's like job, work,
Yeah,
things,
it's like
stuff.
career climbing there, and if it's not corporate, it's not real. I will say it seems
Hmm.
like a little bit of like a paradise out here. I'm still like, this isn't real life. And
Hmm.
when it's sunny, I feel guilty for not being outside if I'm like sitting editing on my computer. So that's an adjustment. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still kind of like settling in and assimilating,
Hmm.
obviously, but there's a different feel for sure.
I wanted to debate the East and West Coast because I think like a couple of weeks ago you posted something and I commented like East Coast is always greater than West Coast and you were like I don't know about all that. So I don't I've never been to the West Coast personally, so I can't really
Oh, you
I don't
have
have both
to.
sides of the argument, but I guess I have a huge New York East Coast bias. I do want to get out there.
Well, yeah, you can't have an opinion until you see both. I
Yeah,
will
I
say
guess so.
New York has like such a special place in my heart. And before I moved out here, I was like, I'm only going to be out here for a year. And then now that I'm out here, I'm like, yeah, there's no way a year is going to be enough. Nova,
So
you
you
can't
moved
hear
out
me.
there? No, well, here and there, but it's fine. It doesn't matter. But
Sorry, she's
it's fine.
talking.
It's fine.
She wants to be on the pod.
Oh my gosh, I don't know if you've seen, we got two little shepherds, Apollo and Layla. Yeah,
Yes,
they're the best.
so cute.
Apollo, oh my gosh, yeah. But yeah, I have them. Hopefully they don't run down here causing havoc, but could happen at any point. But so you moved out there with in mind that you were only going to be there for a year? I didn't know that. Is that what you
Well,
thought?
that's, I think, how I broke it to my parents. I was like,
Oh, okay. That was a sales pitch.
yeah, it was a little marketing on my end. I was like,
Uh,
yeah, just for a year, like I've always wanted to go out there and circumstances are right. And I'll be back, like I will say, like every Sunday, missing Sunday family dinners for me is incredibly hard.
mhm.
Not being around my nonna, incredibly hard. But my parents are coming out for Easter, so I'm so excited for that. I do think it's one of those things where I was like, oh, a flight, it's just so far away. But with technology and everything, like, I don't know. And the happiness I feel here, I'm like, yeah, 1 year might not be enough. But there is something that I've learned in the past year or so. I don't make hard set plans anymore because everything ebbs and flows and the only constant is change. So
Mm.
I try not to give myself like hard set anything anymore because I'm like, everything's subject to change. And another thing I've said, like, one, have grace with yourself always. And two, you reserve the right to change your mind at any point in time, ever.
That's great. So is there anything that you have, I mean, you've only been there for a short time, as you said, but is there anything that you don't like that surprised you when you moved out there? Or is it still like a honeymoon phase where everything's, because there's got to be something that's like, even gas prices or something like,
Oh, hell yeah. The gas prices
uh-huh,
are astronomically stupid. There's
uh-huh,
so many things, like all those things that people will say as like, you know, the reasons to not be there. I think it's more so like people trying to convince themselves that their decision's right, because I've never felt more aligned with the place and kind of like a lifestyle of being outside in nature. And everybody breaks when the sun sets and like gets outside, and everyone will take breaks, and you see people like on their lunch break running. And for me, prioritizing that is like great for my mental health and all the above. But I will say some of the downfalls, sure, gas prices, traffic's bad, but traffic was horrendous commuting in and out of Manhattan.
mm-hmm.
So right there, I'm like, apples
The
to orange. I mean,
wash.
like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's a wash. I will say the rain right now is crazy, but at the end of the day, I'm like, it helps me
that's
because I'm like,
unlucky.
well, I also love a rainy day, and I love like an excuse to not feel like I need to be outside in the sun. So I don't know. I'm all about looking for the silver lining.
Mm.
There's going to be pros and cons to absolutely everywhere and every situation. It's what you focus on.
So how close are you to like LA? How far is that?
That's a great question. So I'm like, I would say 2 hours if there's no traffic. I drove up to see my friends in Burbank and it took 4 hours.
Oh my God, I
So
have a
it's
traffic
like,
story.
yeah, tell me,
My
traffic's
God, my cousin Rich, somehow I've become the airport run man where everybody asks me to take them to the airport because like I don't have a set schedule kind of like you, so I can kind of work around everything.
yeah.
So I had to go like a month ago to Newark Airport, which is probably 40 minutes from my house. And we were about 3 miles from the airport. And we just come up to this like hill and we get over the hill. And right on the other side of the hill, dead stop traffic, nobody's moving.
Oh
So we
God.
get there and we left so early. We left like 2 or 3 hours early for his flight. So he would have had plenty of time, like no matter what, we kind of planned for traffic. And we pull up there, we're like, oh, thank God we left early because it looks like there's a lot of traffic. We should still make it. 10 minutes goes by, 30 minutes goes by. We're sitting there. I'm furious because I'm the airport guy. Like, I don't even have to be on this car ride. And long story short, it took 6 hours for me to round trip to Newark Airport.
No
At
way. 6?
6 hours, we were stuck going there was 5 hours. So coming home was fine, but oh my God, I was probably the most mad I've ever been in my life for the first like hour and a half. And then after that, I was just like, let's keep going. Let's make it
Yeah,
as long as possible.
you kind of just like have to lean into situations like that. Like,
Yeah.
I will say, while obviously my roommate's car is horrendous, we leaned into it and just tried to find the jokes in it. Like we made a playlist
Tough.
of songs like Ring of Fire and like
Oof.
started dancing on the like burning on the dance floor. Like you got it. Sometimes like life just hands you these things. And I swear it's just a test from the universe or whomever to be like, how are you gonna react and respond?
100%. Yeah. I mean,
With
it doesn't help.
six
Yeah, that was crazy. It doesn't help any situation like to be negative about it though, you know? Like once you're in it, whatever the situation is, the only choice is to react positive, try and make better, right?
yeah, and it's like you truly have to just surrender sometimes. And I think being someone like born New York, New Jersey, East Coast, that's hard for me to just
Mm-hmm.
kind of like surrender and let go. Like I'm like, no, I want to have a say or whatever. So does
Mm-hmm.
Nova. Um, but I think the biggest lesson I've learned is like you kind of just gotta take things as they come and like, I don't know, take the lessons, take the little pearls of wisdom from it, and then move on from it with those
Mm-hmm.
lessons and knowledge.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, I didn't realize that. I always knew that you like Nova and Nero were your little babies, but I didn't know they were actually your dogs and they'd come with you. Was your family a little upset that you yoinked the
So
pets?
they were definitely family dogs. Like we adopted them when I was in college, and then yeah, it's like junior year, senior year in college. And my little brother, Nova, you gotta stop. She's such a drama queen. I mean, she takes after her mom, but she she okay. My little brother and I always fought like, okay, well, who's gonna take like how we can't split them up and who's gonna take the dogs? And then he enlisted in the army.
Mm,
So he very clearly could not take the dogs with him. And they very quickly became my children, which they always kind of were. Love you,
hmm.
Shane. But I always was I feel like he was still in college. Like I was the one taking care of him. So yeah, I was like, my parents wanted to be true empty nesters. And I just thought I couldn't live without them. So I brought them. And now that my roommate ended up back home, I'm so happy they're with me because I will say it's great to be like alone and solo and do things and have that independence. But without them on some of those cross country drives, I would have not felt as safe and probably would have lost my mind.
Hmm. Yeah. So, do you have any like friends that you've known for a long time near you, or are you having to go like try to make new friends like right off the like right now?
I have
Okay.
a few friends that live out here that I definitely like. I wouldn't say that I've known them for a very long time,
Hmm.
but a few people. So this is the best. I went to a yard sale the first week I was out here with my roommate back in September, and I hop out of my brother's pickup truck and I'm like, cool, let's ask these girls if they're moving and see if their like beach cottage is available because we got to find a place to live. We were house hunting heavy. And I get out of the truck and I'm like, right, time to make some friends. And I hear Layne Fable. And I'm like, what? Like, who knows me here? I just got here. And it's Melissa Bischoff. It's Mike Santucci's girlfriend's sister.
Oh my God, really?
And yes,
That's a
and
small world.
immediately, such a small world. And
Yeah.
immediately we like hit it off. We went out that night and we've been like pretty much like hanging out ever since. Can't get rid of me. We're really close now.
And you
And
you saw her at a garage sale,
a
and neither
yard
of you knew
sale.
you were out there?
I think maybe like we knew from Instagram, but like had
No
no
plans or
idea.
anything. Yeah, yeah.
No, like
That's so
the
crazy.
chance that we drove by that street on the Saturday that they were doing that
Uh-huh.
was wild. And that's why I kind of believe in synchronicities. And now her and I are like super close.
Hmm.
And she's introduced me to so many people. Um, and then I have another friend I met out here through TikTok, actually. She started something called the SD Network, and it has been the biggest tool of me making my closest friends out here. And it's one of those things. I mean, I've always been very outgoing and like
Hmm.
travel has a lot to do with that. But having like these things in place and those things happen truly have made it. I already feel like I have like lifelong friends here and I've been
That's
here for
great.
5 months.
Hmm. Yeah, that's something that would definitely be difficult for me because I'm a more reserved person, like moving somewhere with a few friends or, having to go out and try to make meet new people all the time. That would be a challenge. But what was that your friend made, the SD network? What was it
Yeah, it's
called?
called, okay, let me hype it up. It's called the SD network. And she basically started it because it's really tough to make friends in your like mid to late 20s. Like you're
Hmm.
not in college. A lot of times you're working. So sure, you can make friends through work, but, or, you know, you make friends at like a yoga class or your common interests, but people can be like reserved. And sometimes it's really hard to get out of your comfort zone and like get out there. So she saw the need for that and started planning like networking events. And, we did like a pottery class, and it's been so incredible to have a bunch of like-minded people all together, and like everyone brings a friend, and it just snowballs into this incredible event. And now it's like this massive network, and she's really gonna, I'll just leave it at that because she's growing it into something even bigger. But
Hmm.
I have nothing but like love and gratitude for that, because it has been such a game changer moving out here ultimately alone since my roommate headed back east.
Is it an app or is it a website or?
It's becoming one, yes.
Okay. So is it local to like California right now?
Yeah,
Okay,
and
that's
like
cool.
things may have been done before like it, but what she's curating and putting together is truly one of a kind. Like I've seen it in other cities, but it's nothing quite like this. Like I haven't seen the type of like synergy that this has
Hmm.
with local brands and making it really a local experience versus just, like happy hours. So,
Hmm. So since this is a finance channel, I think we have to talk about some type of finance, to work it into here. But
yes.
so I don't know how much I don't know how much you follow like all of finance, but have you been seeing anything with the banks recently?
Yeah, a lot of my friends work in tech, and they are having a hellish couple of
Uh-huh.
weeks.
Yeah, because Silicon Valley Bank, that is the one that really started off this whole process of the banks. A lot of them, well, not a lot, but a couple of them have gone under. And Silicon Valley, I mean, that's right near you. So I would assume so you probably know some people that were definitely affected by that. I mean, even a lot of the startup companies use them as a bank. So it's a
Uh,
big thing, big deal.
yeah. A lot of my friends in tech and tech sales, like specifically last Friday, I think it was when like Silicon went under. So it was crazy. Like people were definitely low key like pulling their hair out last Friday. But I will
Yeah.
be honest with you, me in finance, like I follow your page to be informed because
Hmm.
I do not have that much information.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, it's crazy. Like my mom, who's working for a company called Coda, I mean, they're located here on the East Coast and they use Silicon Valley as their bank. So that would have been
Wow.
I mean, so they went under on a Friday, and over the weekend, the government stepped in to back all of the people who had deposits there. But if that hadn't happened, then people like my mom and a lot of people working for these small companies would have been able to be paid like then for the foreseeable future. So that could have really caused a huge problem.
Yeah,
It
I
seems like we've
mean,
avoided it.
I feel like our economic situation, so I don't love the news for the reason that it always makes it sound like it is just beyond repair,
Hmm.
but it's looking a little rough right now.
Oh my God, I couldn't be more negative on like legacy media. Like it's like I can't even watch it. All of my news comes from like online sources, Twitter, YouTube. Like I don't watch any kind of news channel. So I feel the same way about legacy media. But
Yeah,
yeah,
so when I was younger, I literally, that when you have like your mom come in for Mother's Day and you write three things about her and she has to guess who she is.
mm,
I wrote three about my mom, and one was like, she's blonde, she's tall, she watches horror movies every night. My mom's like, I'm not up there. And I'm like, yeah, mom, that's you. And she's like, I don't watch horror movies every night. I was like, yeah, you do. And she's like, I watch the news every night. And
oh, that's crazy.
I'm like,
Yeah, it's
little
all
Lena was
negative.
onto something,
Uh-huh.
because yeah, the news is just fear mongering at its finest.
Oh my God. I think it'd be so awesome if there was like just an only positive news channel.
Could you
Imagine if there was
imagine
one. I feel like it'd be so popular. I would
that?
watch
And
it.
also it changes your perspective. Like if you're
Yeah.
if you're fed that over and over and over, of course your outlook is going to be it's end of the world, doomsday, because that's all
Yeah.
you're being told.
The only thing I question is like these news channels, they want to make money. So is that what people want? Do they want negative?
Well, they
I don't
say
know.
that if it bleeds, it leads. So if, like, with COVID, they had to scare everyone
Mm-hmm.
so badly that they like were, I was terrified to leave my house and go, like, literally, I remember a graphic from the news that said if you open your door, they blew up a virus molecule and like had it, flying at your front door. Like they
Mm-hmm.
blew it up like times 2000 and said it was like coming at you. I just remember, being like, I know that's not scientifically correct, but I'm still freaked out. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just wild.
Yeah. I I don't know if I want to talk about my COVID opinions. We'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at
I
that.
was scared for
But
like a month, but after that, I don't know.
oh yeah, no, same. It
Yeah.
quickly dissipated that fear. I
Yeah.
was like, nope, this is and that is why I also hate legacy media, because I'm like, oh, that was just a tool.
Mm-hmm. True, true, true. So I've noticed recently you've had a lot of like sponsored posts, and I was looking to talk about like if you could explain, do they reach out to you? Do you reach out to them? What's the whole process with that? I'm very interested
Yeah.
with that.
So it's both. I will cold email brands that I love and that are my dream,
Mm-hmm.
collaborations. And sometimes they get back. And that has been so rewarding because obviously when I was like a smaller creator, I would still do that, but no one would
Oh, I'm doing
answer.
that. Nothing.
Yeah. And it's one of those
I don't
things
blame
where
them
it's
either.
like, hey, but like, don't stop, because also
Mm-hmm.
we all know UGC is huge right now. And number two, it's it's like a batting average. It's like the more you do it, something's gonna
Mm-hmm.
stick. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that. You taught me that with shorts. You were like, yeah, no, you got to start doing that, Layne. Like, why are you not doing that?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit of both. And then also because I post brands that I love and use daily, when they see that a lot of times, then they'll reach out just from seeing like me organically posting about it, which is such an incredible feeling because then that is like the most organic. That just happened with one of my favorite chocolate bar brands, Honey Mamas. It's
Mm-hmm.
like a somewhat healthy chocolate bar brand. But yeah, I'm a big proponent of shooting your shot. Like
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't hurt. You already have your no. And if you want to accept that no, you're doing yourself a serious service because you never know what a simple question, what a simple introduction could lead you to.
Mm-hmm. What do you think they look for most when deciding like whether they're gonna go with you or not? You think it's just purely following, engagement, or
That's
something
tough.
else?
Yeah, it's tough. I think everyone's different with that. I do think I would like to think, at least for me, because I did take a massive hiatus from posting and now I'm back. But that has hurt me a bit when I reached out to some brands. But the brands that I do really love prioritize like authenticity and like true voice, because I think if my followers know anything, they know that like I am so transparent and blatantly honest that if I'm going to talk about something, I like love it or I'm willing to try it and
Mm-hmm.
give my honest feedback. So it really is different. I think there is a different metric for every brand, what they're looking for. Like if they want the highest production quality content, or if they want someone with a super authentic voice, or they want just sheer numbers and following. You're always going to find someone looking for something a little different. But I think that is why it's so important to reach out to everybody.
You said you are almost honest to a fault online. That's something it's difficult for me to do, and I don't know if others feel like this way, like truly being yourself online, because you think you want to like show yourself as what people want to see, not what you want to put out. So that's something that
Yes.
always came to you, just your natural self. You think that's a key to your success in social media?
Yes, but it also is a huge reason I took a very elongated hiatus because when things in like my personal life changed and I had always been so transparent and divulged everything because I was like, yeah, this is my life and like
Mm-hmm.
it's the truth to me right now. I once I realized that, I think like, yes, that's why you grow, but it also, you are sharing a piece of you. And I still had things that were private to myself. Like I will say, as much as people know all of these intimate details about me, it's like an 80-20 rule. It's like, you
Hmm.
know, 20%, and you know that 20% fully. But there's so much behind the scenes that people don't know. And I think I've I've tried to keep a little bit closer to my chest now. I'm still navigating that though,
That's
obviously.
yeah, that's probably a good thing because I've seen like even bigger creators before where they're just like my whole life is just for views, like nothing is sacred. I put everything online, and I think it really bothers them after a while. They're just like monetizing everything in their life.
And I think like I always came from a place of content creation was truly documentation for me. It was,
Hmm.
I want to remember these moments that I would otherwise forget while traveling, in my relationships with family, like these little things that I know my brain just doesn't have the capacity to remember what I was doing at a random Tuesday when I went hiking with my dogs and my friends. Like I want to remember the little jokes that it's impossible to remember.
Hmm.
So I am so happy that I have always like overshared and over documented because I can look back on it. But I will say, when things change, you realize like, well, damn, that's all still out there, and that time capsule is complete, and I
Hmm.
would never want to get rid of it. But like, you're like, well, shit, that's out
It's a
there now.
chapter, right? It's a chapter in your life.
Yeah, and it's still very much accessible to people that don't even know me. So that's something I've
Hmm.
been navigating. But on the other hand, I think it's so beautiful to go back and watch things.
Hmm.
So yeah,
So
there's a clear like that's a real issue.
so when you started, your mindset wasn't even about money. It was just about like you wanted to preserve the things in your life so that you could have them forever.
Oh yeah, when I started, I was making no money, and I was daily uploading. So I wasn't sleeping. But I will say I first started because I wanted to remember things, and it strictly was out of a place of like I have a shot memory. Like I move at such a high like frequency, like I'm constantly going at such a high speed that I'm like, wait, what did I do last month? Like,
Hmm.
so it started out of wanting to just remember those things. And when I started traveling, and I was like, okay, this is all you. You're spending your money on all of this. You better remember it, Layne. Like you're dropping your first 3,000 purchase on like a 3-week trip to the Philippines. You better record every single day. And Casey
Uh-huh.
Neistat had a lot to do with it because I loved his videos, like still do. Um, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy a camera and record every day of the trip so I can look back on it and keep this as like a little diary.
Hmm.
And people started watching it, and I'll never forget. Well, I had a blog before this and I got Google ads on it. And I was out to dinner with my nonna. This was in college, my grandmother, nonna in Italian. And I was so excited. I was like, Nonna, I got my first Google AdSense check. So excited. She was like, oh my God, like, congratulations. How much did you make? Like, are you paying for dinner? And I was like, 68 cents. And she like slapped me in the back of the head and goes, Layne, you cannot be happy about that. She's like, no. I was like, no, it's a start. I was like, it's the
Hmm.
first time I ever cashed out on like, she's like, Layne, that's not even $1. And I was like, but it's a start. So no, I started it just because like I always had a camera in my hand. It's funny because I do believe that you have what makes you you as an adult and as a human from when you're younger. Because I found some old videos, and it's me and my brother with our dad's camera being like, welcome to the Layne and Shane show.
Hmm.
Fast forward, the most viewed video on my channel is me and my brother in front of the camera, the Layne and Shane show, eating Jollibee on camera. So those little things, when I see those full circles, I'm like, wow. But no, I did not start for the money. I never even knew, like, I never even hit that threshold until I learned, like, MrBeast and Casey and I
Hmm.
said, like, you can make money. But no, it was for sure just because I have a love of recording absolutely everything.
I think that's a huge key to people's success when they're doing social media because a lot of people start with the intention of making money. And I mean, it's not like I'm not doing it trying to make money eventually, But if you're not passionate about what you're doing, you're not going to be able to do it consistently enough and as long as you need to get there. So it's really about posting what you want to post and what you're passionate about, more so than just trying to do something for a paycheck or views or money. It's like it has to be sustainable for the long term.
Exactly. And like that's where burnout comes from. I will say MrBeast definitely made a great point of like treating it like a business, which
Hmm.
I have never been great at doing. I really should hire like an editor or, like block out my content and plan it and like listen to you when you told me like, hey, like really get behind shorts. But there's that little like free floating. I'm like, I'm gonna do it when I feel like it.
That's
I
West
like
Coast.
West Coast, baby. No, I still have a hell of a lot of East Coast in me. Let's be real. Like I'm loud and I talk really fast, but
Hmm.
there's a beautiful like middle line where you have to treat it like a business, but you're right. That undertone of like love and enjoying it has to show through. Otherwise, I think it's pretty apparent that it's, for a paycheck.
So you brought up MrBeast, and I just have to mention, because this happened the other day to me, like I feel like I still have so much to grow and so much like my skill level is like here and it needs to get here. So I was
That's a forever
watching,
thing, by the way.
yeah,
That's a
yeah.
forever.
I guess if you're, because I like kind of as a perfectionist or like I have high goals, high standards, I guess I will always want to be better. But I was watching MrBeast, who makes, I mean, the best videos. You can't get higher quality, better like entertainment value today. I watched a video, I think it was from only like 5 or 6 years ago, and it was one of the worst videos I've ever seen. There was no quality, it was not entertaining, and it just motivated me and showed me so much that like if you want to get better at something, you just have to put in the work and the time and the effort to do it.
And that's across like all things in life. I mean,
Hmm.
truly, it's fun to look back on some old videos and just be like, what the hell was I thinking? But I think that's what will serve you so well. And like I've literally seen the start to your channel to now and like all of your socials. It is that constant desire to evolve and change and like push through and the perseverance. And we all know, I mean, it's all been said, it's consistency. It's like the same thing
Hmm.
with investing. It's like consistency. It's not like a one and done thing. It's you got to continuously
Hmm.
have the input.
Yeah, and I've failed at other social media like ventures before. I mean, it's like everything in my life, it has always brought me back to YouTube, whether I knew it or not. Like when I was younger in high school, I had like a secret video game channel, but that died off after a little while
That's
because like it's
awesome.
not really my passion or whatever. Then I tried that fitness channel for a little bit. I still like fitness, but I guess it just wasn't my true calling. Otherwise, I would have continued. Whereas with this channel, I've been doing it, well, the YouTube since last August, but Instagram for like 2 years now, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. So I think I actually found it this time. But I mean, it's been failure after failure along the way. So if anybody's out there starting a channel or starting something, like just keep going until you find what you love. I mean, it might not be your first channel.
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, it all comes down to consistency. And like, there are so many things in life that come down to consistency. What I found too, and this is something I'm working on, but it comes down to like discipline. And it's similar to I did like 100 miles in August just to see if I could do it, to see if I could like consistently show up running 100 miles. And I think it was just such a good lesson because it's not about the running and it's just about to
It's
reach a goal.
mental.
Like, yeah, it's mental. And like
Hmm.
the only one holding you accountable is you. You can
Hmm.
have everyone around you building you up or, supporting you if you have assistants, if you have coworkers and anything. But like it all comes down to you and your self-talk with yourself.
Hmm. And then once you achieve that goal and you prove to yourself that what you set in your mind as what you want to do, you can accomplish, you can start little and you can apply that to bigger and bigger goals and challenges. And each time you prove yourself right, you get more confident that whatever you want to do next, you're going to be able to do. It's like a real like mental muscle that people can build over time.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point because it the one thing I also have realized, like being out here alone ultimately, I mean, minus my barking dogs, but um it's like everything is you versus you, and everything is you holding you accountable, and it's your self-talk, and it is your routines and your discipline. So that's something I would be like, my advice to people is it's the consistency you have with yourself. It's like your outlook on your own things.
Hmm.
I'm so sorry she's barking so much. You would think
It's
that this is
okay.
like my first time recording anything.
No, but it is mine. I'll bring down Apollo at the end. I'll show you Apollo. He is my little guy. I love him so much. But
Yes.
yeah, he
I
follows me
actually have a,
everywhere.
I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah.
I have a finance question for you. Oh
Okay.
my gosh. Have you heard of the app Fundrise?
I have heard of it, but I don't know much about it.
Me neither. But I did just download it, and like, this is by no means a sponsorship. I'm sorry, I'm giving them free promo on your channel. But it's funny because I truly want to get into I feel like real estate is a lot of where like the money's truly at. It's an app that you can like invest in increments as small as like $10 or something, and it will put it into, I'm gonna butcher this, I am so not a finance girl, um like into a real estate investment portfolio type deal where it's growing
Uh-huh.
in that sense. So yeah, I'm like really interested in it, or
Hmm.
kind of to see where it goes. My dad told me about it, and he saw an ad on Instagram, of course. Mark is a true social media dad, but I'll send it to you after. Like, I'm really interested to see what you think about it, and then maybe you can, post about it, and I can learn more, because
Yeah.
I trust your opinion.
Yeah, now's a difficult time for real estate, but I mean, if you're just like someone like you who wants to slowly just dollar cost average or just buy a little bit over time, like consistently over time, there's really never a bad time because we have so much time left in our lives investing and growing our portfolio and wealth and all that. So
Well, tell me,
it couldn't hurt for sure.
am I wrong to think that like real estate is the one thing, like everyone needs housing no matter what? Like you can cut on like luxury cars or goods or things that like other people invest in, and like other things that will, I just think that like housing or even commercial real estate, I don't see that ever going anywhere. Am I wrong though?
Commercial real estate is a tricky one right now because a lot of companies are working remote. So they're in a tough spot. The real estate market right now is very interesting because actually all investments are really interesting right now because
Yeah.
we've had before the past year, there was 15 years where interest rates were extremely low, which provided liquidity and money for every asset you could imagine. So it's tough to determine like how low will things go over the next 6, 12, 18 months. I mean, they've already come down in the past year with the Fed raising rates so much. For anybody young like me and you, I would really just say just dollar cost average over time. You cannot go wrong. Like
Yeah.
we have such a long horizon. As long as you're investing in, safe stuff. Real estate is I mean, you want to mix of real estate, stocks, bonds, like all of it. But yeah, over time, real estate. I mean, if we do not make money in real estate over the course of our lifetimes, in like the 40 years that we have until retirement or whatever, then there's a big problem because I mean, they should prices go up in that amount of time. So
I'm wondering if it's one of those like Robin Hood-esque apps where it's like, big push on marketing, and then everyone's like, yeah, that's not really the move. That's the easy move for people that don't know what's up, but
mhm.
it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, like even right now, there are things called REITs, which are just real estate investment trusts, which is what I've bought in. And I'm wondering if that app just lists those and that's what you're buying. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but those are just stocks. So these are
Yeah, I'll
like
have to,
investment portfolios of real estate, maybe. I don't know, but
truthfully, I don't
we'll
know.
see.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I do have one more question for you, although I know this is your podcast.
no problem.
Are you still buying like Metaverse property? Okay.
No, but I do still have the one that I bought in
In Croatia.
2020. Yeah, on Earth 2. Yeah,
Yeah. Because I
yeah.
remember, I mean, I remember you like talking about that, and everyone
Hmm.
talking about that.
Yeah, I
No,
may have gotten
Novo,
swindled.
Nova wants to be on the podcast so bad.
Hi, Nova.
Yeah, I love that you're like, I may have gotten swindled. That's the one thing. Like, I trusted your judgment, but back then I was like, this seems like a video game to me.
I was under the impression that it was not going to be a video game, but Earth 2 is still around, and actually I go on it every day because they let you collect these like tokens that your properties generate, and they're saying they're going to make a crypto out of the tokens you collect. I wouldn't put any money into it now, and I didn't put like my whole invest. Like I put a little bit in it, but
Yeah, as
yeah,
like a test.
crypto in the past couple of years, I've really just become like more and more and more confident in Bitcoin and less confident in everything else. Like it really is for me, Bitcoin is here and then everything else is a separate thing.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where you can't duplicate an original as much as you try.
Yeah, and it's like the fact that it has like Satoshi Nakamoto, if you know, it's like a notoriously like the person who made it, but he has no actual identity. And to be able to create another crypto like that would almost be like undoable nowadays with social media, and who's going to create a crypto network and then just walk away from it and not take any of the value that they have. So
Yeah, and
it's
like
like,
not take the recognition.
yeah. So yeah, in the crypto land, I think for me at least, it's been Bitcoin and nothing else recently. Not even like Ethereum or like Solana or any of the other popular ones. I just feel
Oh,
like,
you just reminded me. I think I have like Dogecoin on my Robinhood app. Oh God.
yeah, that was crazy when like Elon Musk was going after that, and Mark Cuban and all these people. Who
I
knows though?
made
Like you
I
shouldn't
I
sell it now. I feel like if you bought it 2 years ago, you should just leave it and see what
I should have
happens.
sold it when it was up like 300%. It was wild.
I
It was
remember
wild.
I remember watching Elon Musk on Saturday Night Live, and that was like the peak of Dogecoin. Everybody was like going crazy, and I think there was a skit about Dogecoin on SNL. But a lot of the times with investing, it's like sell the news event. So like it'll run up all the way until the event happens, and then it'll sell off after, and that's kind of what happened there. But I
Yeah.
think I think Elon Musk actually like allows people to pay in Dogecoin for one of his companies. I don't know if it's like the Boring Company or
Oh wow.
some of them. Yeah, it's crazy. So it's not dead. It could come back.
Listen, if there's one thing I know, it's like Elon Musk will probably pull a rabbit out of a hat 20 more
Yeah,
times
don't bet against them.
in the next couple years.
Yeah. Have you gotten into ChatGPT at all or tested it out?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yes. Um, it's terrifying to me,
me too.
equally cool and equally terrifying.
I mean, I have such mixed emotions about it because I understand that it's going to be such a powerful tool, and like it'll positively affect like productivity, and like maybe it'll do jobs that people used to do, and now people can focus on more stuff that they're passionate about rather than like this like numbers work and like all that type of stuff. But it could just spiral, I feel like its power, it's so scary. And the
Well,
people who are running it, like OpenAI, they seem to program it in a way that's not exactly truthful in all situations. Like it's kind of skewed one direction. So I don't know. It definitely seems, but people are always scared about new technologies. So I don't know. I
yeah,
have
but
such mixed emotions.
I think, I mean, this isn't specifically the chat GPT, but it's what about like the deep fakes and like the voice? Like
Yeah.
there are TikTok sounds that are like Taylor Swift talking, but it's not actually her talking,
Oh my God, I'm
but it's
addicted.
her talking.
One person makes no, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, and like another person, and they're all playing like Minecraft. Oh, and Joe Rogan. And they're all playing Minecraft, and they're all having a conversation. It's so crazy how they can do that now. Yeah, it's all
That
coming.
is
It's all coming.
that's hilarious. Yeah, it's here, and that is scary to me.
Yeah, but like there are positives, right? Like it's going to be able to do jobs that are just like boring jobs that like people have to do now.
Yes,
They're
but
not
what
going to have
I'm
to do.
worried about are the people that aren't intelligent enough on their own to decipher that it's fake. And then
Hmm.
it spirals into a very real issue. after hearing, I mean, like, imagine you hear someone makes like a fake voice of your boyfriend saying some crazy stuff or your girlfriend saying crazy stuff. I don't know. There are a few little nuances. I'm like, this is just horrendous. And I want to go into the woods and throw away everything.
Yeah. I have questioned before, like, why are we even doing this? Like, what is driving people to, like, it seems like an innate urge to like keep making better technology. It's like, why don't we just chill out for a second? Technology is amazing. We can do literally everything like we want to do. What makes us keep pushing the like envelope to like when do we stop? I guess we never stop. As people, we just keep wanting to make better things, but
And it's
like
the rate at which it's going, I think, is the problem, because like,
faster
yeah,
and
it's
faster.
great. Yeah, for healthcare services and all these things, like that's great. But there does come a point where it's like, can we as humans and human nature keep up with that rate? And then once AI kind of takes over, and okay, well, this is like a possibility, but like once it kind of takes over and does and has its own velocity, are we going to be phased out because we can't keep up?
We'll be ants, and they're to them. Yeah,
I mean, it's like every sci-fi movie ever, but
yeah, there definitely needs to be some kind of, right now there's like almost zero government, like anything, like any kind of protection, any kind of overlook, any kind of body
yeah.
that's regulating it. Like there
And
needs to be
then
something.
how much do you trust that regulation not being used for something
Yeah,
not as pleasant? I don't know,
but I feel like people had this thought and these thoughts every time any kind of like new technology was made, like the internet. People hated it at first, so
Oh,
I
I
don't know
mean,
if we're in
I
that
remember,
stage.
yeah, I remember learning in school, like in my media courses, when the newspaper came out and like when things like that, like magazines, it was like, oh, this is going to be terrible for the youth and like this and that and like all this stuff. Like there's always going to be, like I said earlier in the podcast, like pros and cons to absolutely everything. But I guess we just get to see and wait and find out.
Yeah, and I mean, we already have TikTok corrupting, all of society. So,
I am addicted to TikTok. And
are
this is
you?
a,
I've
yeah,
never downloaded it.
as a content creator, I was so against it. I was like, YouTube to die, blah, blah, blah. I shot myself in the foot because people were blowing up. Like it is a way to grow
You think still
fast.
now or in the beginning?
I mean, I just had TikToks. Like I just recently, I'm going to say semi-viral. Like one is at, I think like 700,000 views, but like it was like a San Diego house hunting TikTok. And it's crazy because like, me, I'm all about like travel, food, dogs, fashion, but my house hunting TikTok blew up. But like my recipes and my like little travel vlogs on there are not doing the same thing. And I'm like, damn it. Like
Seems random,
algorithm,
right?
okay, I will say like the TikTok algorithm is the strongest thing I've ever seen.
So what do you mean by that? Like finding the people that want to see what you post, or
Yeah.
like,
So to
yeah.
also kind of like relate to the SD network, that's how I found my friend Sam. Like I found her on TikTok because I guess I was looking up San Diego things, or it pulled from my phone that I was house hunting in San Diego back in starting even in July. And I think it knew I was like here out house hunting, and it served me her TikTok about her move here after a breakup and like all these things. And I swear to God, it like fed us to be friends. And then it has just like continued that. And I'm like, it's scary. I'm grateful for it because I made really good friends off of TikTok.
Yeah,
But I'm like, it's a little
they know more.
scary.
They know more about you than you do about yourself. That's how
Absolutely. And then
yeah.
we get together and we're talking, and they're like, oh, did you see this TikTok? And I'm like, our For You pages are the same.
I've thought about going on there and posting stuff, and I'm just like, I don't think I want to. I don't know. I don't even know about the situation now because it's heating up with like they're banning it, and or are they going to? I don't know.
Well, it's a really interesting thing too, because I've learned so much on TikTok that I never would have learned otherwise about like herbs and about a bunch of different things. And there's a lot of talk, obviously, on conspiracy talk about are they trying to ban it because it's the dissemination of information has no regulation. It is literally whatever you want to put out there has the chance to reach millions. Like we said with legacy media, like that's not good for them, just because why go to them when you can just get your information elsewhere?
Who do you think benefits most if they ban it? Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts?
I actually have a little bit of an issue with Instagram Reels right now because I was in their creator program and it was beautiful to post and like make money off of Instagram because I had never had
Do you
that
mind sharing how much they pay for like 1,000 views or whatever their term was? I have never heard of Instagram paying.
Yeah, so they had a creator fund where they were paying people and they were really trying to push Reels to take it away from TikTok, basically. And you know, I'm really bad. Like I don't pay attention. I just know that there were payouts like every month. I had a few go semi-viral, like not viral. And it would be like a couple $100. So it wasn't anything crazy, but it was a nice like supplemental.
I mean, you're gonna post it anyway, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was already making the content. And like, you know, like repurposing now that all of the like social media apps are fighting, it's kind of
this
great.
podcast is going to be turned into 50 videos. We'll see how many.
Oh, I totally didn't even think of that. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
I'm going to make so many shorts with this. But yeah,
wait, I'm pumped.
Keep going.
Okay. So I am mad at Instagram right now. I thought they had a great chance of like taking over TikTok because, or not taking over, but like I held out on downloading TikTok or like posting to it. I was like, no. Then I got into it. And then I was like, well, I already have more of a following on Instagram. So like I would be more willing personally to post there. So when they started the creator fund, I was all about it. But now I don't know, like my undying loyalty and love is to YouTube because I started there. I just think that they are going to run the course. They're still the largest. Actually, has TikTok SEO search engine like beat them yet? Do we know?
I'm not sure. I feel like I probably would have heard about it if they did. So I'm gonna guess no.
You're right. YouTube probably just has like the longevity and like the history.
And I mean, Android phones, it comes downloaded on them all. So
yeah,
it's like a cheat code.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it's tough to say. I think TikTok is just a monster. And I'm fully addicted to it. Like I remember when I first started my podcast, I made an episode, I downloaded it once and I had to delete it because I swear to God, they called it TikTok because you lose all of your time on it. All of your time. Like it steals your soul.
So you like the like product so much that does it even cross your mind? Like, do you care if what they're saying is actually true and like China is like stealing all your data, which I wouldn't doubt it. And I also wouldn't doubt that our companies that are social media companies like Facebook and all these are stealing your data. So like you wouldn't stop using it as long as it's not banned, right?
So it's interesting. I have this conversation with my parents a lot about it. Because they won't download it, but they're like, you know, my biggest fans. They're always like the first to comment on everything. But okay, my take on it is that all of these apps, I mean, we all remember the whole Mark Zuckerberg, that like everything, they're all stealing our stuff anyways. It's all getting stolen. This news headline of like China's blah, blah, blah. It's already being done. If you think it's not already being done, like, me not using it isn't going to stop anything. If they ban it, I'd be interested to see how that unfolds. I know India has already banned it. Like my subscribers in India can't see my TikTok, obviously. So I post it to shorts and reels. But yeah, I am still in that little fantasy world. If I'm like, what I don't know, I guess right now can't hurt me, which is stupid. But there's a part of me that thinks that they're already controlling a lot. And it's like, we already know this with Facebook. Like it was showing you things. We know this already. Like,
yeah, I guess it's just people, it's like your own country versus like like China is like kind of our rival.
But my question is, if you think that people in our own country weren't selling it for money and capital to other people paying top dollar.
Yeah, it's true.
I have a little less trust in Yeah.
Everybody's
Like,
out there trying to make money at the end of the day. Like
yeah.
every company, everything. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Money's the root of all evil, you know?
Yep. 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 Yep.
I have thought about like, did I, should I not have downloaded it or whatever? I'm also a girl who overshares online. So I'm like, well, you already know everything about me. What the hell do I care if you know exactly what I buy? I already say everything online. So everything though, because I am sticking to my 80-20 rule. As much as I share, there are still so many things I do keep close to my chest that people don't fully know.
So, but you do feel like TikTok is still like, if you're a creator, it is 100% worth it to go on there, because it seems like all of the creators who are like the ones who blew up on TikTok, it was from like 2 years ago. And I'm not in that world too much, but it seems like those are the people that blew up and became like mega famous. And I haven't seen much new people.
Yeah, I mean, there are new people, but I am constantly kicking myself because I didn't do it when we were all stuck at home during COVID doing nothing else. Like that is when people really blew up and created like household name brands that they could pivot into full blown
Anything.
careers. And people still are on the come up. It might be just, you know, slightly more oversaturated, but as someone who recently, as of like, I think it was 2 weeks ago, had a TikTok go semi-viral, and I've been getting new, you know, people following me on Instagram and YouTube. I am like, hell yeah, I'm leaning into this right now.
I was going to ask, are you using TikTok to try and get people to Instagram and YouTube, or are you just purely trying to build TikTok?
I'm trying to get them to come over, but I'm also not allocating enough of my resources to posting on YouTube and Instagram. You know, finding house hunting, furnishing an apartment, that took a whole lot. And I'm still not even done. You're seeing the only put together corner of the apartment, basically, other than my room. But yeah, I think I would ultimately like to use it to bring people over to YouTube and like my blog, because that I own the domain, like I own that. And I think that like that kind of longevity is still very important in the creator space, because there was a talk not too long ago, like, what if YouTube just kaput, you know, like no one knows what could happen.
Yeah.
So you never want all your eggs in one basket. And that's why I'm trying to grow across all social media. And I am trying to leverage TikTok right now because I do think the growth, the growth potential is still there currently for a bit longer.
It seems like for like a decade now, actually, I guess since the beginning of social media, like content has gotten shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. Attention spans have gotten shorter and shorter. Do you think we've reached the pinnacle, and like YouTube shorts and TikTok, like it cannot possibly get any shorter, right? Like, is this the final form of what content's going to be?
How could it get shorter?
You think it's going to reverse?
I do think there's always a pendulum swing. I mean, in everything in life, I think that's like a fact of nature. And just like like you take anything too far one way, everything, like in every aspect, like you take something too far one way, it's going to come back the other way. Like if there's not a balance, nature will course correct itself. And I'm not calling, you know, TikTok nature, but, you know, for a long time, even with reels, it was like 7 second sound, or like 7 seconds and that's it, or like less, and have it loop, you know? And I think there is a place now where it's like, well, actually, I kind of want to hear a long form. Like I want to know what you have to say when it's not clipped, and I want the context around it. And I want to know a little more of your personality that shows through when you're sitting talking for an hour. Maybe I'm just coming from a place. I love podcasts, and like Joe Rogan's podcast. It's like a daily thing for me. Yeah. Like
it's what I listen to when I run now. I don't even listen to music.
Yeah. Like there's something to that. And I think that there will be a place for the short content when you know your attention span. I mean, my attention span has obviously gotten shorter. Part of the reason I document everything, because my memory is, you know, but yeah, I think there is going to be a swing back to long form content, and it hasn't gone anywhere. I just think the rise in popularity might come back before it dips back to like short again, you know, everything ebbs and flows, truthfully.
Yeah, I think shorts are just like an amazing way to give people just like a little taste of what you're about. You can capture these moments that are just 20 or 30 seconds, and it's like they could go viral where a 5 or 10 minute video or an hour-long video. You couldn't go that viral when you're such a small creator, but you can have these moments that like anybody can relate to.
If it's shareable, like if content's shareable, even if it's long form. I mean, like if someone sees value in this and they share it with their friends, we all know what like a web network looks like. I mean, you can reach like endless amounts of people.
That's the thing I love about trying to build this YouTube channel. It's like what I do now will help me 10 years from now, 20 years from now. The people that you get to watch your content, the content that you make, it never goes away. It's just building on each other. So it's like a snowball effect, like a snowball starts small going down a hill, but by the time it gets to the bottom, it's a massive like snowball. So
exactly. And like
yeah.
it can take its life of its own. Like I took that year and a half hiatus almost on YouTube, but my videos like the Jollibee taste tests and like some of the travel vlogs were still bringing in residual income because I had already built that and that was there. And that SEO was still being searched, you know, like hiking Rainbow Mountain in Peru. People were searching that. So it would still pop up.
Time to do a part 3 or 4 or whatever it is of Jollibee.
I said I was going to swear that off forever, but another thing I've learned in the past year, you know, just never say never because anything's possible.
Hey, they got a new sandwich. It's time to try it. No, I don't really know, but I know. I
was
know.
like, oh, shit. I was like, I'm on my way. It's a rainy day. I'm going to go house some Jollibee.
What's the famous like fast food restaurant out there? In-N-Out? Is that all it's cracked up to be?
Hate In-N-Out.
You hate it.
And I will get in so much trouble for this. Like people literally start fights over this. It's white bread. The bun is white bread. There's nothing I detest more than white bread. I just think like you could get a potato bun. You could do a brioche bun and be bougie like you're California. You could be healthy and find something better. But white bread, nah.
So you wouldn't like it, you never have the urge to go there. It's like not good in your opinion.
I do like the protein style where it's in like a lettuce wrap. And that's just not
you're the wrong person to ask because you're not a fast food eater anyway. So.
No, exactly. Yeah. Like I rather make a burger at home or pay $21 at my local like favorite spot for the bougiest, dumbest burger you've ever seen. And I think that's worth it because if there's one thing that I also do align with and the synergy in California is like here a lot of people care about the quality of ingredients and what you're putting in your body. And I'm all about that.
Now, the real question is, how are you going to be able to replicate your dad's pizzas out there? You're going to have to fly him out, I guess, right? Is there any other way to do it?
No, I actually told him, I was like, do you guys want to drive out and bring the pizza oven? That would be some amazing content. Yes, I don't know. On top of that, though, I was pleasantly surprised. Well, I was house hunting in a neighborhood that I wanted to live in. There was a place called Corner Pizza. It was phenomenal. And like they purposefully tried to replicate like a New York style thin crust. Like they have special water that they use and stuff. I found good pizza out here. That's another reason I'm like, I don't think I'm ever leaving.
I don't have much left to talk about, Layne. I don't know. Do you have anything that you wanted to talk about today on here? Or?
No, I was like, I'm getting back into podcasting and this has just reignited my love for it so much. I just also thank you, one, for having me on as your first guest.
Oh, thank you.
Honored. And also like, I feel a little rusty. So if you go through this and you're like, we got to redo, I'm always down because now that I'm back into it, I don't think anyone's going to get me to shut up again.
So you really enjoy podcasting?
Love. I love it so much. And I think it comes back to like what we were talking about. You get a whole picture. You give someone the opportunity to really like dive into what they're passionate about and just let them kind of run with it. Where a lot of time, like there's not that much space for that anymore in like our day and age here. Like everyone's constantly looking for that dopamine hit or, you know, on to the next. ADD's running wild, which clearly it still is over here. But I think podcasting is so much fun. And I had someone reply to my TikTok, be like, you don't need a podcast or like whatever. And I was like, one, I already have one, baby. And two things because you like them. Don't ever do something because someone else told you you should or like discouraged you. I hate that so much.
Hmm. I feel like you're almost on the right path if someone's doubting you or not liking what you're doing, because that's how they show that like you're doing something that they would want to do, I feel like.
Yeah, I actually had a a friend from home um before I left kind of was like, I don't know, shitting on my content in so many words. And I was like, what? Ugh. I was like stunned. So if
Hmm.
anything, it's also like I just want to say thank you to any of my subscribers that came over here or followers, because it's always the strangers that pleasantly surprise you, I feel like,
Hmm.
and are like die-hard supporters. And it is a beautiful thing to see. That is one thing that I think social media, there might be some pitfalls, but the connections that you never would have had otherwise are
Hmm.
truly incredible.
That's amazing. That would be my dream one day, because so far I've mostly put out, like I've edited other videos. I'm really just starting out to put out my own content. And I have a few names in my head who people have been commenting on my polls I put out on YouTube. So if they're around with me forever, they'll have a special place in my heart for sure. Like the people that supported you in the beginning,
Oh my God.
100%.
Yeah, like I see their names and I'm just immediate smile. And
Uh-huh.
also I just had a like subscriber send me things off of my Amazon wish list for my new apartment before people in my real life I've known, which there's no like that's no shade. It's just like that kind of uh, that gratitude I have is just, I don't understand how like the content I put out online could reach someone, like touch someone like that, for them to feel like they want to, I don't know. It's like a
Hmm.
beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's
It's really
beautiful.
sweet.
100%.
And I will
Well,
say, like, one of the last things I say before I just keep rambling on, the best compliment I've ever gotten was that my content has helped someone through like tough times in their life. And I'll say, like, if I'll never stop because one person messaged me and told me that, like, my silly videos or like whatever I share has helped them through something, like, that's been my purpose. And as much as people will be like, you don't need a podcast, it's oversaturated, it's this and that. What you're doing, whether it's finance or whether it's just your perspective or take with a conversation on someone, has the ability to change someone's day or life or whatever. So, like, stick with it. Because if you have that little feeling of like passion inside for it, there's a reason. Like, there's always a reason for that.
that was great. I think that's
As
a good way to end it.
Yeah, as my voice cracks.
Thank you so much for coming on today. I'm really so appreciative. You have a invite to come back forever,
Thank
you
you.
know, and just thank you
Listen,
so much. This is the first podcast.
thank
I don't even have
you.
a name, but
Oh, I love it. Do you have any ideas?
I do have some ideas.
I
Do you
take
want to hear
another
them?
shot of honey. Yeah, please.
Okay. These are very early stage, but I love this poem. It's called My Wage by Jesse B. Rittenhouse. The basic of the poem, and now we only have a minute and like a half left in this time slot on Zoom, so I can speed through this. But like, the main thing of the poem is bargain with life for a penny. Whatever you ask of life, it will give you. And so I have a few like, I don't know if I could call the podcast My Wage after the poem. I don't think I can do that. But there's like Penny Path and some other ones that I was thinking, maybe Bicameral Thoughts, which is a different one that has a bigger story, but I guess I can't go into that now. But and
Wait,
I don't think I want
I
to call it
love it.
foster finance. I want to like have it more generalized, I feel like.
I really like the tie to the poem in the first because I think it encompasses like going after what you want, and like it's bigger than, and like finance plays a part in that, because let's be real, money matters in this world. Yeah, I really like that. Like, I would keep playing around with like the penny or wage or
Yeah.
like iterations of the poem, because that's a
Hmm.
really cool backstory as well, and it has like solid meaning.
Yeah. If anybody has any ideas, comment. If you made it
Yeah.
this far in the podcast, oh my God, you'll be my favorite person. So, all right. See you later, Layne.
Bye.